Hey everybody, Greg Hamilton here. I'm taking a long drive today and decided there was a couple of things I'd like to talk about and maybe, hear people's opinions on it. Very angry today and very upset about, the recent news of the, unfortunate incident of George Floyd, which was killed by police. It always brings back this feeling of hurt. I'm sure you all know my situation. I hate to keep constantly bringing it up, but obviously that's what my fight in life is about right now. The fact that I was forced off my job, and they had to lie to do so, and make up stuff, and manipulate things like that, and it hurts so much because I was one of the guys that if I'm affecting an arrest and you said I can't breathe, I would not kill you. I'm sorry to say, just basically point blank. I'm sure a lot of people on the other side are not going to agree with what I'm saying, and at this point, I just I don't care what you think, because I've been there and I've done that. So I can tell you that I've affected arrest. I've had people resist arrest. I've had people comply. I've had them all. I've had almost every situation, that you can kind of imagine, and nobody died. I never killed anybody, or thank God I'm still alive as well. When a man says he can't breathe, and I understand there's a fact, or there's a chance that they might be trying to toy you to see if you can lighten up on them so they can, continue resisting and maybe fight you to break free or take your gun, whatever. There's always that chance, and there's always that danger that you have to deal with. But when you have 4 to 5 officers standing there with one male, and you hear him plead for his life and say, I can't breathe, numerous times, and you could hear it in his voice that you're restricting his airway, that's when you stop and say, all right, fellas, back up, do me a favor, I'm going to lighten up on him, be ready, hold his legs down, hold his arms, help me out, and lighten up. And guess what? Nobody dies. But to have your hand in your pocket and continue putting pressure as if you could care less about this man's life, there's something wrong there. And unfortunately, there's a lot of amazing police officers out there, and I feel I was one of them. And there's a lot of police officers that are against what happened, and a lot of police officers that won't commit what happened ever. But the only thing that I also am sad to say is there also are some police officers that don't give a shit, just like the one that was just recently fired, and deservingly so. And that's the sad thing, because instead of weeding out those types of guys, they're going after the vulnerable nice guy like myself that they think won't fight back and won't cause a stir. And it's like I could tell you the numerous times when I was on the job that I heard people tell me, my some colleagues and some bosses, that I'm too nice to these savages. What are you a criminal too? Because they're your best friends. You treat them too nice. And I'm like, no, it has nothing to do with treating a criminal nice because I'm a criminal. It has to do with treating a human being as a human being. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me the bullshit of, you're nice to them, they can kill you in a second. I was nice to people, and I'm still alive. Just because I'm nice doesn't mean that I don't have my guard up and my tactics. Listen, a human being is a human being. And the way you treat somebody in life is always going to come back to you. I don't care who you are. It always comes back to you. So when you treat somebody like an animal, and then 10 years from that moment, something bad happens to you, and you wonder, I was so good, what happened to me? Well, there you go. You get what I'm saying? And that's how I always lived my life. So and I got punished for it. I got forced off my job that I loved and that I really took serious and tried to make sure that I helped people and so on. And I was penalized and forced off by lies 2 years before I reached my goal of retirement. How come they don't go out of their way like they did with me to weed out the bad guys? The guys that could possibly do harm. Why don't they look through the records and see how many, charges of of police brutality or alleged allegations of police brutality officers have against them, and start weeding those people out. I never had any charges against me or any allegations, but yet I get weeded out and lied about. They said, that they lied and said my shoulder's so bad I can't even raise my arm above my head after I won. Meanwhile, I'm winning a boxing match. So there you have it, folks. Honestly, I'm not going to speculate, but is that what they're looking for these days? Is it because I'm too nice? They don't want me as a police officer? What they want is that type of police officer that just got fired? And I don't want to get into this situation, but there was a recent situation which someone died, and yes, he was fired for the officer was fired for his acts. And on the down low, they try to fight for him to keep his pension. Now, I'm going to get crucified for saying what I'm saying, but you're going to go out of your way to fight for whether he was right or wrong, whether you think he was right or whether you think he was wrong, whatever the fact was. The fact of the matter is, he was fired for a reason, and you try to fight for his pension. And that's fine, whatever. If that's what you feel was the right thing to do at the moment, fine. I was fired and lied about. Nobody stuck up for me. Why? Because I was too nice. Or because I was too good to the savages, right? In the neighborhood. I cared too much. For Christ's sake, I worked at a candidate assessment division where candidates would come in looking for jobs. And even then I was told I'm too nice to them. Too nice to these, what are you trying to teach these savages? Are you serious? And I'm sorry to say, but it was the people of color that I was told I was being too nice to. And that was a big issue because you forgot that I'm not just Hamilton. I'm Hamilton Valle, half Dominican, half German Irish. So I am in touch with my minority side a lot more than I am with my white side. And I just love everybody, and I get penalized because I treated people like human beings. That, to me, folks, is disgusting. And that is what the problem is. Nobody does anything to weed out the bad ones that are there. The bad ones that they know could go bad. Because all you have to do is look up records and start seeing how many allegations of police brutality or CCRBs, civilian complaints, do they have against them. And when it starts going into double digits, I think you should start realizing you might have a problem. Now, granted, anybody can make a complaint and it can be unsubstantiated. That's fine. But when you have some ones that are substantiated and they're still walking around on the beat, on patrol, and dealing with people, then you're the problem. I don't know what these guys' records were, that these officers that killed this man, but by the looks of what they did, hands in your pockets, knee in the guy's throat, I can almost guarantee you that wasn't the first time that this happened. He wasn't a good guy that had a bad day. Bullshit. This man had to have done this before. And the fact that he was still allowed to put his uniform on is your fault. The department's fault for letting him continue. And instead of going after the good ones that have nothing but good records of people saying how I helped them and how, positive interactions I had, how instead of calling 911, they would call the precinct to get me to respond. Instead of weeding me out and lying about it to get me off, because I was an easy one for you to save money on, why don't you try doing it to the bad ones that might cause harm and kill innocent people? This man was pleading for his mom, apparently, and you just sat there with your hand in your pocket like it was nothing. I don't want to hear it. Don't resist. If you don't want to get into jail, don't resist. if you let him go, he could take your gun. Listen, I've been there. Don't preach it to the choir. I've been there and done that, and I'm still alive, and so are all the people that I locked up. They're all still alive. I never had to kill anybody, okay? And I lightened up, okay? If somebody said they couldn't breathe, I cared about that human life. I didn't care about him because he was a criminal. I didn't want to be him because he was a criminal. I cared about his human life, all right? And that's the problem. And when it comes back to my situation, I've told the public, I've mentioned this, and I say it on all my videos, this should be something to be concerned about, because I was a good cop. You might not care and you might not know it because you don't know me and you don't, and maybe never dealt with me, but I can guarantee you that had I dealt with you, you would say, wow, this guy was a good one. And now I'm gone, I'm off the job, and is that going to be a pattern? Is that what they're looking to do? I would make that a big issue, but apparently no one cares. You know, I've made videos after videos and I've heard nothing in return, and I'm not trying to hear anything for my own benefit. I'm doing it so that future lives don't get lost, you know. And I've gotten into fights with other police officers, the bad ones that I saw were bad, and let me tell you, they didn't like me, and they would talk about me to their friends about how I was a rat and a savage because I was on a call with you, and I saw you stick your forearm in someone's throat, and I said, dude, if you don't take your forearm out of his throat, I'm gonna fuck you up. For no reason. You know, I saw what was going on. He put his forearm in a man's throat for no reason, and I told him, don't do that, dude, not on my watch. And I was a bad guy for that. I was a bad guy. Not the guy that put the forearm in this, you know, 4'11" tall, you know, non-English speaking, you know, that didn't even know what he was saying, you know, immigrant. He's not the bad guy. I am for telling him not to do that. Now I'm off the job, and now one person stuck up for me because of that. Because I wasn't a bad guy, and I wasn't down with them like that. You know, very sad, very sad. And to all the good
Watch out, vehicle stopped us.
To all the good police officers, that was my GPS, sorry. To all the good police officers out there, you know you're a good one if you're not getting mad at me right now. If you're getting mad at me for what I'm saying, then that means that you need to check yourself, because you're probably not a good one. I'm sorry. Because everybody knows who knows me. If someone's hurting a police officer, you're going to want me on your side, because I'll be the first one to fight for my dear life and risk my life for you, or for anybody that's innocent, any innocent life. But if you're beating somebody up just because you got beat up as a kid and now you need to take it out on somebody that, you know there's going to be 40 cops backing you up, so you have the strength to beat somebody up, I'm not going to let that happen. And I'm off the job. Maybe because of that specific mentality. Very sad, and I think it's something we need to discuss as a society. Thank you all, and I love you all. God bless. Please support my page. I need to get my point across. I was discriminated against. I was forced off my career that I loved, 18 years of dedication and helping people and focused on treating people like human beings. I was forced off on lies. They said that my arm is so bad I can't raise my arm above my head. Blatant lie. All right? Meanwhile, I work out every single day. For you to be disabled where you can't work, you know, I have to be so bad that I need like an accommodation where, I need to sit down for 2 hours out of every 4 hours. I need to sit down for 2 because I can't work. I've never asked for anything. I told put me out in a foot post for 13, 14 hours. I didn't care. So they came to me and said, you're disabled, goodbye. And I'm like, what? I fought in a boxing match to prove my point. I went to the gym every day hoping somebody would see me to prove my point. But nobody said anything. Nobody did anything. They looked the other way. This guy, you know, he's too nice to people. We don't need him out there. He's not gonna, you know, he's not gonna be down with us. Sorry, guys, but not good. Not good. Love you all. God bless. Please share.